Abby Dude! Hi there, this is Abby Dude! Welcome back! And it's another road trip today. And this time we're back in Scotland, so back on familiar territory. And it's a bit of a longer one. So we are off up to the Highlands, initially up to Nairn, where we're going to go around a place called Brodie Castle, which is a National Trust castle. I've wanted to go around it for a little while now, but it's just far enough away that you can't really do it in a day trip. It's around about 500 miles there and back, I think, maybe even a little bit more. So it's too much really to do in a day. While it's possible, it's exhausting and I don't want to do it, basically. So we're making a bit of a romantic weekend getaway out of it. We're off, so we're going up there tonight, staying at a hotel near to Brodie Castle called Inverness and Nairn Hotel, and then we're going to cut across to the shores of Loch Ness. We'll stay there tomorrow night at a hotel on the banks of Loch Ness that we stayed in the first time I brought my wife to Scotland. So anyway, and then coming back a completely different route. So for the way there, I've, of course, because you can never overplan these things, done the old spreadsheet, which basically covers us, that one spreadsheet covers us for the whole weekend. So it includes all the, going there, the two hotels, the castle in between. Really idiots. The two hotels, castle in between, and the trip home. So we're back to Charles Place, Scotland. I did not want to do ABC on this trip because it is, it's a long trip, and it's a long way and stopping every 20-30 minutes. So I decided to try and find enough of the new style Evo chargers. If you've been watching the channel, you'll know all about this, but just to clarify, the old chargers, which look like this, which are called compacts, don't work very well with the I-Pace, and the new style chargers, which look like this, and I believe they're called Rapids, they do work with the I-Pace, well, in my experience anyway. So I've tried to find enough of them on the route. Now, it was sparse and it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, and in fact there really weren't any without going fairly well off route to get to them. But what I discovered is that at Stirling, so that's where we're headed first, is Stirling. We basically go past Kilmarnock, outskirts of Glasgow, cut across the M8, I think it is, it must be the M8, to Stirling. And then at Stirling I've found that there's a pub there called the Highland Gate pub, I think it is, Highland Gate Inn, which is literally on a roundabout next to the road we're driving on. So it's, it's as close as a motorway service station would be. And they've got an Engine. How do you pronounce that? Engine? From the way it's spelled, it looks like it should be Engine, but I've got a funny feeling it's supposed to be pronounced Engine. Anyway, however it's pronounced, there's one of those there. I think there's actually two of them in the car park. And a quick visit to Perthshire showed me that it is actually one of the new style Evo chargers that they use. I had a quick look on Perthshire, and apparently it's set up for contactless payment, so I should be able to just pay with my Apple Watch. So as a result, I haven't set up an account or a direct debit or anything with Engine. So hopefully I'm just going to be able to pay for that by tapping my watch and going, which is how charging should be, people. You shouldn't need memberships and direct debits and apps just to access the basic fuel for your vehicle. So we're going to try that, and we have to pray that it works because we don't really have a backup, if I'm honest. So we'll do that, and then from there it's a straight run all the way to Inverness, which is about 140 miles. Now I have set up a waypoint in the middle at Perthshire. We might stop there because we're probably going to want to have something to eat by then. And there is a charger in Perthshire, so might as well plug in and stick some power in while we're eating. It is an old style Evo, a compact, so it might not work, but it doesn't matter because we can get all the way to Inverness regardless. All that charging stop will do is reduce the amount of time we have to charge for in Inverness. So we'll stop at Perthshire almost definitely, because even if we don't want lunch, the chances of my wife making it for 140 miles without peeing are as small as her bladder. So we will probably stop at Perthshire, and then we run up to Inverness. Now there's a hospital in Inverness that's got a new style Evo, the Rapide. So we'll stop there, charge up, just to make the rest of the weekend easier. We'll charge up probably to 90%, then we'll go to the hotel, check in, have the night there, and then tomorrow I'll run through what we're doing on the way from there. I won't go through the whole 3-day trip for now. But yeah, after Inverness, it's a fairly short run then to get to the hotel. I think it's about 15 miles or something from there to the hotel. And then that's us for the night. So yeah, it's as I say, we do need the charging stop because we can't make it. Well, I don't think we can make it all the way to Inverness without charging. It's 207 miles. So theoretically, we could actually do that without charging. A better route planner obviously says we can't, but we all know that a better route planner is unduly pessimistic. However, 207 miles, we do have quite a lot of motorway on this trip, which I reckon makes my range about 210 miles. Who knows? We shall see. But yeah, hopefully it won't come to that sort of dire emergency backup plan, and we will get a charge at, well, either Highland Gate or Perthshire if we stop there, which we will because of bladder. So yeah, that's pretty much the itinerary for today. The scenery should be nice. I mean, the run up to Stirling is all motorway. I mean, where we are at the moment, it's very familiar territory, kind of Kilmarnock-ish at the moment. It's nice scenery, but nothing I haven't shown you before, because we've gone on this road on every road trip, mainly because it is really the main road out of Ayr where we live, unless you're going northwest. But so most road trips start off on this road. Then there's a bit of motorway which won't be overly scenic, but then after Stirling, basically, I mean, it's not too bad going up to Stirling, but after Stirling we start getting into the Highlands proper, so that should be really nice. What else to tell you? Yeah, the weather we've got at the moment is 22 degrees. Now, I planned the trip for 13 degrees because that's what it was yesterday. Welcome to Scottish weather. So I planned it on the 13 degrees that we were getting. Is now 21 degrees at the moment, so that should improve our consumption a bit as well. But in all honesty, the better route planner consumption figures are so pessimistic that I don't really go by them anyway. I just use it as a starting off point to planning my road trips. I don't use it religiously because I know I can do better than it thinks I can do. So as I say, I use it as a starting point, and then from there I tweak it to my own algorithm, which is I just base everything on 200 miles, although the car can go further than that. It just gives me a comfortable margin, and there's no worries, there's no issues. I don't have to think about charging. And on the 50 kilowatt chargers, I get 50 kilowatts whether I'm starting my charge at 20%, 50% or 70%, to be honest. It starts to taper after 80, but even at 90 you're still getting near enough 40 kilowatts out of a charger, so there's no benefit to running it right down anyway. So yeah, there we go. 200 miles is what I base my whole thing on, and I don't really pay too much attention to a better route planner other than using it as a starting point to see where all the chargers are, and then I kind of manually tweak it to improve what they've come up with. to produce the end plan, which ends up being the spreadsheet. So yeah, there we go. We're gonna head off now. You can enjoy some scenery, as indeed shall I. As usual, I'm going to let the car do most of the driving, so it's in adaptive cruise, eco mode, and I've got cruise steering assist on. Interestingly, I read somewhere on the forum, I don't think this is right, but I've never tested it, and I must test this someday. I read that the cruise steering assist feature actually seems to use a lot of battery, according to one person. I find that hard to believe, but one of these days I'll test it out and see. But I like using it, to be honest. It makes the drive so pleasurable and painless, and if you pay that amount of money for all those, to have those features on a car, why would you not use them? So, especially on long drives, which is when you need them most. So yeah, so that's how I've set the car up. That's how I'll drive the whole trip. On 70 roads, I've set it for 72, which is near enough exactly 70, because the speedo, as on every car, the speedo is not 100% accurate. So 72 is pretty much 70. So motorways and 70 roads, we'll do 72. Any other road, we do 10% basically. And that should give us plenty of range, plenty of comfort, and it avoids you feeling like you're driving painfully slowly, like on one of my early road trips where I hadn't yet worked out the range of the car. I was like being overtaken by buses and things. It was horrible. So yeah, I'm now comfortable enough that I don't feel I have to, carefully control my speed all the time. But 70 is good on the motorways, to be honest, and above that does have quite a dramatic effect. So we'll stick to that. Yeah, I've droned on long enough about the trip now. We shall get going. Well, we're already going, but I'll leave you to enjoy the view, and I shall talk to you. I'll probably be near enough Stirling when I talk to you next, unless anything exciting happens in the meantime. Enjoy the views, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, we have arrived. It is, as we knew, an Ingenie charger. Oh, sorry, I've gone horribly late. Let's see if we can correct that for you. There we go. Right, so we are going to give it a go with the old wireless charging. What I like here, if I just flick to over my shoulder, where is it? There we go. Look at that. One charger. Two chargers. So yeah, the site has two wireless chargers, which is brilliant. Now let's see though if those wireless chargers are going to work with the eyepiece. Okay, the first thing I have to do is apparently I do need to swipe a card. Or start it with the app. Bugger. Okay, let me get onto the app, I'll get this started and come right back to you. Okay, well that was a bit of an embarrassment, but I have now found out what I was doing wrong. All you have to do, and it doesn't tell you this anywhere, is tap the screen before you start. So I've just wasted a load of time setting up an account on the Ingenie app, etc, etc, and then I ended up phoning them, and the guy said, yeah, if you just touch the screen it gives you the option to pay contactless. Right, so now we'll do that, and I'll flip so you can see the screen, so you can see what I'm talking about and what I failed to notice. Okay, so this is the screen. Sorry if it's a bit flickery, but you can see there's nothing there, there's just that. When you tap on the screen, which is what I didn't know, you get that. If you then tap on contactless payment, start charge, and then it tells you to present your payment method there, which I will do with my Apple Watch. It pre-authorises £29, which seems quite high to me, but okay. And then you tell it you want CCS, you grab the CCS out of the machine, you plug your car in like so, and then you go back to the machine, tap start, and you get that. Bit of noise. We're at 68% by the way, so we're well ahead of the 63% that Better Route Planner reckoned we would be at this point. So that makes this charging stop shorter than we'd expected. Now it was only going to be a 15-minute charge stop, so be fairly quick. We'll probably grab a coffee and a pee if it actually starts charging. Let me just unlock and lock the car. Oops, that's not good. Let's try it again. I think it might have been because the car had gone to sleep during the whole process of trying to get the charger to work with the app. Okay, so the white light's flashing this time, so the car is expecting a charge. This is quite slow. May take a few moments, yeah, it may. Come on. We've got the blue lights above the charging ports. So that means it's above the, the holders for the charging connectors, I mean. They're blue, I don't know if you can see that because it's so bright, but they are blue. However, that still says it is checking initial conditions. That's quite slow. That's very slow. That's slower than just slow, that's critically slow. Charging is finished. Reason for stopping, error. Well, that's not much help to me, is it? What does the car say? Just let me go in from this side. No, the car just says it's initialising. So it's not giving an error in the car, just on the charger. Okay, I've just rebooted the machine via the emergency stop button because there was now a red light above that CCS connector. It's rebooted, it's gone blue, went green. I've gone through the exact same process you just saw, I just didn't film it, but I went through the exact same process. Touched the screen, contactless payment, tapped my watch against the bottom screen, the little payment reader, and now we're getting a charge. So yeah, all is good. But I've wasted a lot of time with that stupid app nonsense when all I had to do was touch the screen. Jeez, how stupid do I feel? Anyway, at least it's not raining, at least I'm stood outside in nice warm sunny weather. Right, we are charging, we're at 69% now. So I'm only needing to get to, I want to get to 90 really. So that's, I'm doing some quick back of a cigarette packet mass. I want about 17 kilowatts then at 50 kilowatt charge rate. So 20 minutes. But that would be to take it to 100%. So minus that 10% that I don't need. So yeah, about 15. It's going to be about 13, 14, 15 minutes, somewhere in that range. So just enough time for a coffee and a pee. And then we come back to the car and get on with our trip. Unfortunately, that's wasted about 10-15 minutes unnecessarily, as well as the fairly heavy traffic we've been in. But, oh well, it's a new charger for me. I was always going to struggle. I mean, you know what it's like. These charging companies all operate differently. Anyway, that over there is where I'm going to go and get a cappuccino. And leave the car charging up, I hope. Okay, we're going to mosey on in there and I'll talk to you in a bit. Right, well, after my, as my wife put it, my blonde moment back there, yeah, charge completed. Painless. It wasn't the fastest charge in the world. I reckon I was getting about 40 kilowatts out of it. But that was fine because by the time we'd had our cool drink, which is all we wanted, cool drink and a pee, by the time we'd done that, the car was at 92% anyway, so the 42 kilowatts wasn't an issue. Yeah, a blonde moment, as I said, was all you have to do is tap the screen and then it takes you onto the options page of do you want to pay with your Ingenie, however you pronounce it, RFID card, or do you want to pay with a contactless payment card. And once you do that, you just tap your watch or your phone or your actual card and off it goes. Took me 2 attempts for some reason, but that's fine. The only thing to be aware of though is that every time you try, it blocks £29 on your card. So that charge actually blocked £58 from my card, which will be blocked until probably Monday or Tuesday, I would guess, when it just disappears. So make sure you've got plenty of cash available on your cards if you're going to use that methodology. 29 seems like a really high blockage as well for a charge. I mean, that charge cost me, I'll stick it up here, the payment screen, but charge cost me, I think it was £7.17, was it? Something like that. You can read it up there. So blocking £29 seems like quite a high amount to block. Admittedly, I only did a, what was that, 24% charge. So even if I was going to take a full charge in this car, it wouldn't have come to £29. So blocking £29 when people are plugging in things like Nissan Leafs and i3s seems a bit high to me. And when it doesn't work and they've blocked £58, that's particularly high. Not a disaster, but you know, for some people that could be a disaster. So yeah, that's that charge done. My first time using that company. I'm not going to try and say it again. First time using that company. But yeah, it was a very familiar charger. It was the same as the new style eVolts that Charge Place Scotland uses. So So yeah, very familiar to me, but not familiar enough that I knew to touch the screen, because the payment system obviously is different to Charles Place Scotland's. But yeah, so we're on the road now. As you've probably seen from the dashcam footage, the traffic's been horrendous today. It is Friday afternoon. I'm hoping it will improve a bit now, because we're kind of past most of the cities. We've still got, I think we've still got Perth to get past. Have we? We still got Perth to get past? I've no idea. I've lost track. But I'm pretty sure we do. I'm hoping it won't be too bad there. But once we get north of Perth, road sign. We do still have Perth to get past. Duh. Second blonde moment. But yeah, once we get past that, then we're into the Highlands, and I'm not anticipating huge traffic after that. It may have helped my consumption as well, because unlike ICE vehicles, it actually improves your fuel consumption if you're in traffic in an EV in general terms. But yeah, as I say, we got to 68, might have been 69, but I think it was 68% of that last charger, which is 5% better than a better route planner was telling us. And we've had the AC running. I had my chilled seat on for most of that leg of the journey as well. So you can see it is pessimistic, but that's fine. I'd rather it was pessimistic than not get as far as it tells me. So yeah, we've set off with 92. I was planning to charge to 90. We're probably going to stop at Pitlochry, and I'll try. There's one of the old compact, old style chargers in Pitlochry. So since we're stopping there anyway, probably for a bite to eat and the inevitable pee, we might as well try and plug in. We don't need the charge because we can get to Inverness where there's a new style charger. But if we can get however many we need there, we'll probably only have used maybe, how far is it? It's 40 miles, so we might have used about 20% by then, so we'll only be at 70%. But if we can charge back up to 90 there, that's 20% less charge we need to put in when we get to Inverness. So that'll cut our charging stop down at Inverness. And since we're stopping to eat anyway, we might as well use the time. ABC, except it's not really ABC this trip. But if you're stopping and there's a charger there, you might as well. Because otherwise it just means you're going to waste time at your next charging stop. So yeah, as I say, Pitlochry next, if we decide we're going to stop there, but we probably will. I mean, we need to eat. We're going to get to the hotel quite late, and we'll be passing Pitlochry, I guess, around 6:30, something like that. So that seems like a reasonable time to have some food. So yeah, we will talk to you probably when we get to Pitlochry. Okay, we are in Pitlochry. Oops, nearly forgot my Charge Place Scotland card. We're in Pitlochry. Lovely little town, as I'm sure you saw on the dashcam footage on the way in there. And we're here. It's an old style, so I'm not confident, but let's give it a go and see what transpires. So, looks like a fairly new one, mind you, so you never know. You never know. But let's swipe the card and see what happens. Ah, really? Again with the tangled cables. That was the Chadable falling off the machine. Okay. Now then. Moment of truth. Okay. Pressed start. The charging light has gone blue on the machine, as you can see. Now we're just waiting on that. Oh my word. Okay, it still says it's performing the initial checks. So let's not get too excited too soon. But look at that. a simple, straightforward charge first time. And not only that, not only has it worked, although it's... Oh no, there we go, fault. Me and my big mouth. Error. Oh well. Can't say it comes as a surprise. Okay, in that case, we are going to have to do that again. Yeah, so we've had the usual problem. Started for a second, then died. So I've rebooted it now. I've hit the emergency button. Right, so we release it, and then we have to wait for 1 minute exactly, according to that. So I'll switch hands with you so I can keep an eye on my watch. There we go. Right, so now we just got to wait another 45 seconds or so, and then once it's gone through the boot cycle, then we'll give it another go. And if it doesn't work, it's not a disaster. It's just it would be nice to use the time when we're away eating some food to charge up the car, you know, because then it's a zero time charging stop. You know, it's no effort. It's not wasting any time, and that's kind of what you want. Okay, we've got another 15 seconds of that, and then I've got to press and hold the stop button for 20 seconds. So nearly there. Yep, there we go. Hang on. Yep, there we go. So now it's the stop button for 20 seconds. This may or may not work, but I'm only going to try it one more time. If it doesn't work, we'll just park up in a normal space and get going. Right. Okay, the machine has rebooted. The lights have gone green. So let's give it a go. Okay, so swipe the card. Validating user. Plug the car in. Okay, I didn't show you me doing that, but that was me plugging the car in. And press start. Here the fan's coming on. Now, interestingly, the screen on this, I've just noticed, seems to be the same as the Loch one, in that you don't get the validating user page as a separate page. You just get the three little dots flashing over the top of the existing page, which makes me wonder if these have got the new boards like Loch does. I mean, I'm only hazarding a guess, but the car is now performing initial checks. The light on the car's gone green, but the charger still says performing checks. Okay, we are charging. I'm going to lock the car just because I've received a tip that sometimes as soon as it starts charging, if you press the lock button, it helps it to continue. Now, there you go, fault again. If I can show you up there, there we go, fault again, and there's the error message. So yeah, we are not going to get a charge from that, and somebody's just pulled up at the other one, so I'm not going to get to try it. So annoyingly, we're actually not going to be charging while we're spending time eating, which is a bit irritating. So yeah, I'm actually considering one more try at this. Actually, I won't film it, but I'm just going to give it one more try, and I'll tell you what the outcome was, because I'm going to try the old Kilmarnock trick, if you remember now, which was leave the car plugged in for a minute to let things settle down, and then swipe your card. So let's see if the charger resets itself without me having to go through the reboot, and then I'll try the old Kilmarnock trick, but I'm not overly ambitious. So I suspect we're just going to be moving the car into normal bay and then going and eating while the car isn't charging. That seems so last century. But oh well, it was always a bit of a gamble using one of these. I don't want to waste too much time on it because I don't actually need the charge. It's just, as I say, it's going to make the next charging stop shorter, which is always good. So yeah, off we go for some food. As I say, I'll give it one more try, but I won't bother filming it. And then we'll go and get some dinner. And I'll talk to you later. Right, quick update for you. We've the guy in the Leaf van thing moved to the AC charger because he couldn't get the one next to me to work either, the DC. So he's plugged into the AC post. I thought, well, I might as well try it. And he said, oh, it's not working, mate, it's not working. So I thought, oh, nothing to lose. So I gave it a go. Now, interestingly, it looks like an older charger, and it looks like the older style screen that's on it. But I've plugged it in, and it started charging. So the car is now charging, and we're going to go get some dinner. And I'll talk to you later. Right, well, that went better than expected, to be honest. Just driving out of Pitlochry now. It's starting to get dark, which limits my capability to video. If you watched the last road trip, you'll have seen that we got there at night, and basically my camera could barely see me in the car at night. So luckily we're on the road now to Inverness. I can quickly go through what's just gone on. So we got to the charger. One of them wouldn't work, the one that you saw me trying, which had it looked like the newer charger. It had the 3 sockets in the front, and as you saw, the screen was similar to the Loch one. So the messages looked like the new style messages, particularly the validating user part of it. So, whereas the other one, the other charger, it looked actually at first like it only had CHAdeMO and AC on it, because there were only 2 sockets on the front of the charger. And in fact, somebody had posted on Plugshare that charger didn't have CCS. But when you looked at it, there was a CCS thing hanging round the side, like it had been added on at some point. Which would suggest to me that it's an older charger. Oh, these roads are confusing. Hang on. Oh, this is right. Okay. Sorry, just struggling with a bit of a confusing road layout there. And now a lot of cars coming at very high speed. I think I might just have to use the car not in eco mode for a second. Ah no, big gap coming. Big gap. There we go. Right. So yeah. So the charger that looked older worked first time, weirdly. And the charger that looked shiny and new with a much newer style screen on it didn't work. But then we went for dinner. Service was abysmally slow, incredibly slow, but I guess, you know, it's a little touristy, sleepy, hollow town, I guess. Just us in our big city ways from Ayr, expecting food to come on the same day you order it. But yeah, by the time we got back, the car was at 100% anyway. Now, actually, it worked out pretty perfectly, in all honesty, because it got to 100% maybe 3 or 4 minutes before we left the restaurant. But when I got back to the car, the charger was showing an error message on the screen, and when I got into the car, it gave me on the sat-nav screen, it gave me the power cut detected, charging not completed, or whatever it is message. But it's at 100%, so it looks like the charger failed in like the final seconds of charging. Either way, we're at 100%. So yeah, that's worked out well. It's also caused the change of plan. As you can see, it's late. It is now raining. So we're going to get to the hotel quite late, in fact. So because I've charged up to 100% there, and the hotel's only another 100 miles down the road, means we're going to get there with 50% if we don't bother charging. And 50% is plenty for what I need to do tomorrow, and then we can still, after we've done, you know, the castle and what else, the next charging stop is the same hospital in Inverness, Rigmore Hospital, which we were going to be using this time tonight. So we'll just bypass it. I've taken it out the sat nav, so the route has now been amended to get rid of that waypoint. We'll just go straight to the hotel, and we'll drive around tomorrow, and then before we get to the second hotel, before we check in at the second hotel, we'll charge up then at the hospital to 90%, which is more than enough then. So that's the plan now, slightly amended, but in a good way. So we're going to, instead of having an hour's charge and stop tonight, we'll have an hour's charge and stop at some point tomorrow before we get to the hotel, but after we've been to the castle. So it just means that tomorrow's charge and stop is longer, but as we're getting there late tonight and tomorrow, it only means that we'll get to the hotel at, say, somewhere between 6 and 7 instead of getting there at about, between 5 and 6, something like that. So it's not a big deal, and that charging stop was a bit of a bonus. It wasn't expected to work, but we needed to eat, so I thought might as well try it. The original idea being just to reduce the length of the next charging stop, but in actual fact it's made that next charging stop unnecessary, so good times. We're off to the hotel at the Inverness and Nairn Hotel. Now, as I say, it is dark, or it's getting dark rather. I may try and do another video on the way there, just as we're getting closer to the hotel, but past experience says, and you can see on the screen it's already starting to get quite dark. Past experience says the results on camera are not great, so I probably won't. I'll probably just leave it and do the next video when we get to the hotel. But in the meantime, enjoy as much scenery as you can before it gets too dark to see it, and I'll talk to you, who knows, I'll talk to you somewhere. Until then, enjoy the view. Well, we've arrived at the hotel. Actually, we arrived a little while ago, and instead of recording a video, I went to the bar. Hotel is absolutely beautiful. It's a stunning, really old hotel. There was a fireplace downstairs, and an honesty bar, which was awesome. So you just take whatever drinks you want, and you just mark down on the sheet what you took, and then they add it to your bill in the morning. it's the future. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful here. Discovered why the hotels were all so busy when I was trying to book. Apparently it's a big Highland Games in the area this weekend, which we're not going to. But that's why there's so many people around, and presumably that's why there was so much traffic on the road as well. Slight admission at this point, there's a lot of dashcam footage missing, you might have noticed. That's entirely down to me and finger trouble, and we ended up not recording the dashcam footage after the first charging stop, so apologies for that, but it is all back on track now and the dashcam will be working from here on in. Again, sorry about that. So yeah, what else to say? Drive up was dead easy. The first charging stop went as planned once I'd worked out how to actually get the charger to start, which was idiocy on my part. And then the second charging stop, which really was an unexpected bonus. Didn't expect it to work, and it did, and it worked so well that we ended up not having to make the planned charging stop at Inverness. So that was great. So we got here about 10 o'clock, something like that at night. You know, otherwise we were looking at getting here at 10:30, 11:15, maybe even 11 o'clock. So I'm glad it worked out that way. We got the charge in while we were eating, so again the charge added no time to the journey, and we didn't have to stop. And the charger we were going to use at a hospital, so I don't imagine there'd be huge amounts of things to do there. We could do some visiting, I suppose, but yeah, perhaps not the best environment. However, we will be using that charger tomorrow, so you will get to see that anyway. And yeah, that's really kind of all I can think of to say at this moment in time. It's quite late. I think we're both quite keen to get into bed. And I'll talk to you tomorrow with when we'll actually get to do the stuff that we've travelled all this way to do. And you'll get to see some dashcam, because I'm going to switch it on, because I'm not going to be an idiot tomorrow. And on that note, and that really quite ambitious promise, I'm going to say goodnight, and I'll see you tomorrow for some explorations. Bye. Abba-dabby-dude!